My name is Nili Rifa'i, and I'm a refugee. Being a refugee means that I might never be able to go back home. It means a very dangerous road, crossing borders illegally. It means going to a country that I know absolutely nothing about. When someone is a refugee, it means they have lost everything. I worked as a teacher in a city called Homs in Syria when it all started. One night in Homs, people gathered in the town square and protested peacefully against the Syrian government. But their words were met with violence when government troops surrounded the square and began arresting and beating civilians. They turned my city into a war zone. It got to the point where the entire city was under siege by bombs. Planes were dropping barrels of explosives on people, and gunshots echoed day and night. People died not just from the gunshots, but from the thirst and starvation. One day, my life changed forever. At school, I had a beautiful student called Hajid. She loved to sing. She loved to dance. She loved to play. She lived 30 kilometers away from my city, but she still came to study in the schools that I taught in. For 6 years, she was my student. One day, Hajid decided to come to school with her brothers and cousins in a minivan. On the way, they were caught under a rain of bullets. Her cousins were hurt, and Hajid died that night. The night that she died, I was devastated. I spent the whole night with her and the kids in the hospital. I wanted to leave, but something changed inside me. I decided to help those that needed it. I was trained in first aid, and both my parents were doctors, so I decided to work in a field hospital. It was very, very dangerous, and every day we ran the risk of being captured. We ran the risk of being killed or bombed down, but we did it anyway. No one knew what I was doing. None of my friends, none of my family, no one. I used to work during the night in the hospital and come back in the morning and go to my school. I was exhausted, but it was amazing. One night, a boy the age of my little brother died in front of me. I came back home wanting some rest, but when I arrived, my neighbor knocked on my door and told me that 2 agents had asked about me and invited me to drink coffee with them. To drink a cup of coffee with the government means that you might never see sunlight again. I knew right then that I had to leave. A few days later, my friend managed to get me a visa out of my country. None of my relatives knew I was leaving. I couldn't see my friends or pack my things. I drove 2 hours to the airport, avoiding checkpoints and gunfire on the way. I got to the airport and I gave them my passport, knowing that it was a risk that my name had been given to the border police. I waited for the longest 45 minutes of my life whilst my plane was boarding. The police continued checking my passport, trying to confirm that I was a rebel. At the last minute, the flight attendant told them that they needed me for the plane and they let me go. Eventually, I found my way into the Turkish city of Aydin, and it was here where I was approached by smugglers. They offered me a way into Europe, into Bulgaria. They bundled us into a van and dumped us out near the border, where we walked until we reached the country. After 9 months, I became legally allowed to work and study in Bulgaria. Today, I am pursuing my dream. I am studying for my master's degree in international business and communications. I am so grateful for the opportunities that I have been given. I will always remember the people who have been lost and the ones I have left behind. They made me a better person and who I am today.